everybody. I'm glad you guys are here. I have a very special guest. Tonight, we are joined by someone who had a front row seat to history, not from the audience, but from inside the gates of Graceland themselves. As the son of Billy and Joe Smith, our guest grew up in the inner circle of Elvis. To the world, he was Elvis Presley, but to this man, Elvis was family. Through his popular YouTube channel, Memphis Mafia Kid, he has dedicated himself to sharing his side of Elvis that the cameras never saw. He also shares a lot of stories from his mama and his daddy. The laughter, the late night talks, and all the true heart of a man who was more than just an icon. He was, as I said before, this man's family. So please welcome to my show the one and only Danny Smith and his wife, Teresa. How y'all doing?
We're doing good. How you doing, Tony?
Oh, what is it they say? Fake it till you make it.
There you go. That's all we can do.
Nah, I'm doing all right. Had a hip back accident. It's still healing, so I'm just like, stay put.
You were saying something about that. Is it healing up okay? Or, what's this?
Well, I got a pinched nerve on my last disc of my back, and it's pressing up against the injury that I had, which is a contusion of the hip. So it's just annoying.
I totally know. I have a pinched nerve right here beside me. That
I told everybody. I said as soon as it happened, I said I need to call Danny up and borrow one of his canes.
Yeah, they come in handy.
I think so. When it comes to things like this, I'm gonna need a cane. But
usually any injury like that, it's we've all had them, and unfortunately, you probably don't want to hear it, but you're always going to have problems with it. Something's going to flare up down the road again.
Age.
It's Teresa, you hit the nail on the head, honey. It's age. You can't run from it, okay? Like DNA, you can't run. It's going to get you. But I started with some questions for y'all. I know on your channel you like to do Q&As, and you got one that went on tonight on Friday. That was a treat. So y'all better watch that before you watch this video. All right. I got your first question for you, Danny.
Okay.
This is going to be fun. Okay. So, all right. Danny, what was the most normal thing you ever saw Elvis do? Something that would remind people that he was just a guy from Mississippi, despite being the biggest star on earth.
That's hard with Elvis. You already know. Because he's Elvis. Just him, being himself, laughing, carrying on, and some of the, like talks in the jungle room and stuff, and just kind of being more laid back. I'll tell you one that was really kind of that just pops in my head right now is our last trip to Palm Springs, and I had told the story on the video. I don't know if you actually seen it or not, but I had got up in the middle of the night, and you had to walk from where the bedroom we were staying. You had to walk through the living room and through to get to the kitchen. And of course, me, little chubby boy, I was hungry, and I got to walking through there, and then all of a sudden it hit me that Elvis is sitting on the couch, and he actually had a pizza. I guess they had delivered it, or ordered it. Somebody did for him. He was eating it and had the Flintstones on, was just sitting there. And he asked me if I wanted a piece and to come sit down. And that was, to me, that was the man, the human Elvis. Even though I still, like I said, it's hard, I still, the jitters are just, excited, just heart racing and beating. That, for me, that was the way it always was most of the time around Elvis. You got, I guess you could say, calm down some, but I really didn't. It was just like, But times like that, and then, on that same, matter of fact, not that same night, but before, when we flew out there on the Lisa Marie, and it kind of, this one kind of gets me because, there's some out there, and it doesn't matter, that how much, did Elvis really spend with a kid or teenager? Well, pretty good bit. Enough that I never will forget, and I'll tell it, that I got a personal tour from him of the Lisa Marie that night, which meant the world to me. And he didn't have to. I mean, he showed me the whole plane. Then at the end of it, when we started arriving in Palm Springs, he carried me up into the cockpit, and I got to watch the landing in the cockpit.
Well, he was a kid at heart, so why wouldn't he hang out with kids every once in a while? You know what I'm saying? He would.
Well, it's it. I mean, no, like he was a grown man. He didn't. No, I mean, he spent like I've said many times in our videos. Us kids had our group, and they had theirs. Now, did we do things together? A good bit, yes, we did. All the time, no. Like I said, there's nobody out there that spent 24/7 with us. Nobody.
Yeah.
Now, there's some out there that spend a lot of times than others.
Well, this is going to be one about your daddy. Your father, Billy, was so close to him. What was the one time Elvis stepped up for your family that the public never heard about before?
It's not so much maybe my daddy. I'll tell you this. My grandfather, Travis, he worked for Elvis at the gate, was first gate guard, as a matter of fact. And he had a stroke and got sickly and wasn't able to work. Elvis continued paying him, and not only that, when he passed away, Elvis paid my grandmother, Aunt Lorraine, the one I had showed you the person earlier that we're going to show in a little bit, paid her. He didn't have to. He didn't know anybody anything, but that's the type of person that he was, especially about his family. And it's like people. I guess what we call love has nothing to do with money, but to some people, I guess it's called tractor cash.
I see that. Yeah. Well, I mean, my point of view, and I think a lot of the people that are watching my channel and your channel's point of view is this. Probably the same. Your father was there I think personally, he was the last person to talk to Elvis besides Ginger, because he washed his hair right before he went up to his room. So my personal opinion, he was there till the very, very, very end. And there's not many that would, after all of that, leave like y'all had to, and then come back right before the opening. So your daddy helped get that fixed up for EPE so they could open, Graceland.
Right. Sure
so it all, to me, I just, my personal opinion, I love your mama, I love your daddy, love you all too. You guys were there. It don't matter how long you were there. There are times other people left too, periodically. But when it came down to the end of the day, y'all were there when a lot of us were not. So that's something.
It is, and you don't have to explain yourself really, but since you brought that up, and that's a clear thing. And nowhere, go back any video or anybody, we used to go to conventions after Elvis passed. We have a huge Elvis family, and nowhere did any of us ever say we was with Elvis 24/7. No one ever said, I don't know. Well, I know where it all comes from. It all gets kind of turned around. But some things after a little while I need to address. But what we're doing it for, what y'all are doing it for, that's what needs to be done. For the love of Elvis, no matter what anybody says, because I don't care. I don't, and don't mean it in a ugly way, and said many times, we don't have to do it. We can quit any time. But same with my parents, we don't want to because we love it. And like I said, we love, all the Elvis fans, which I name Elvis family because they always have been. Like I said, when I was just in my mama's belly. And then, from like I said, from the earliest age I can remember. So, I mean, but it's like anything else, you totally understand. And as big as Elvis is, there's always going to be something. And the old saying, you're not going to please everybody all the time. And you're not. I mean, this kind of thing ain't been our first rodeo through life, Certain people ain't the certain ones that said, we've heard, I've heard everything from, we were just monkeys on Elvis's back, getting and taking what we could, Once again, we don't force anybody. Believe what you want to believe. Like I said, with y'all, watch y'all. Y'all do great jobs. I love to see that. We try to do a great job with our videos. That's why we started. We've got nothing to prove to nobody. Not going to, but I'm not going to let some things slide by, and I'm not going to ruin what we got. It's about Elvis, and it's going to stay 99.9% about Elvis. And like I've said, I don't mean it in an ugly way. You probably heard it on the last video or two. If you don't agree, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. And if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But we will tell what we want to tell, and we will talk about what we want to talk about. Nothing or nobody's going to stop that. Never have, never will.
Amen. Keep preaching it. When we should be able to say and do however we feel, our own opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one, right? So we gotta use that.
Ain't that the truth? But no, I mean, and that's like y'all, and I said it, and I meant it. My mom and daddy, that's one. Me, it really doesn't matter, but my mom and daddy. But then when you don't totally agree with a handful of people that call themselves a movement, I guess you could say, but then you want all y'all get. If anybody's getting called names and trashed, it's y'all. And that's why I spoke to me and Teresa and said, well, we have friends, we have channels that we like to watch and do. And, once again, everybody, if everybody, that's what's so amazing. If everybody was the same, what would this earth be? If everybody agreed and everybody liked the same thing, it would just be the same.
It'd be boring.
Yeah. Luckily, luckily the majority of the world's not like that.
No.
They want to know, and I can see where they want to know things. I would, and that's what we try to share. Like I said, we, and not trying to toot a horn. We know what we had. We love Elvis. He loved us, and that's all that matters.
Well, Miss Teresa, I'd like to give this question to you because he always gets all the questions. Well, how did you meet this loaf right here? How'd you meet him?
How did I meet him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how'd you meet the Memphis Mafia?
She's gonna tell you the truth. We've never hit it. We've talked about it, but she's gonna tell you the truth about it.
Okay.
I'm curious.
I was going through a divorce. I had found out my ex was cheating on me, and we were going through a divorce. And the only way we could talk without the kids being a part of it was he drove a truck to Memphis and back, and I'd do take that ride, and we would talk. Well, I met Danny. Danny was working there at that.
I was the dock supervisor at that particular dock.
Yeah.
That particular company, and he drove for the hub company out of Tupelo. Would drive up, bring freight, and take freight back. Yeah. To explain that. But anyway, go ahead.
That's where I met him, and first time we met, he ran from me and kids. That's true. Why did you run from me?
Well, it's like I told you. I did because we kind of made eye contact when she walked in, and it was different. Nothing, just different. And I just kind of turned and walked away for a minute, took care of some business, and then come back. And then from that point, we got to talking, and as she come up,
I got his number, and we started talking.
Right, we would talk, and which is no secret, and other people like to bring it up. Hey, I've been married a few times, 5 times, okay? Doesn't bother me.
Hey, who has it, man? I'm not on my first either. So, life happens.
Right, and we started out, I just basically...
he was giving me advice.
I believe I was trying to help her. Not that I was the expert on divorces, but I had a lot. Yeah.
Oh, he's been right on Teresa.
And from there, it become a friendship. And then from there, we had a lot of laughs, and to be really as different as we are on a lot of things, it's just like the perfect connection. Unlike, like I said, anything, yes, I'm married. I'm not ashamed of it. Don't hide things. Don't work out. Got married a few times when I was young. I don't regret any of them. Got 2 beautiful children, and then, combined with Teresa, and then and she had two beautiful children, and we raised them, and we got beautiful grandchildren, and that's all you could ask for.
Yeah, that's it, man. You know what I keep telling people? It's like, you do you, boo. I'll do me.
Yeah.
And we go on, It's like life is life. Nobody should judge you how many times you've been married, how many girlfriends you had, how many boyfriends you had. That doesn't define who you are.
Well, like I said, like you said earlier, everybody's going to have that opinion. Everybody's going to have that opinion, and that's fine.
It's true.
Fine. If we didn't, what kind of world would it be?
In April, it'll be 20 years.
Right.
How many?
20.
20 years in April.
There you go.
And that is my longest marriage.
Well,
my longest marriage before that was just under 7 years.
I hear you, man. I've been with mine for 26, and the first one only lasted 4.
You semi-know then, see?
See, yeah, it does. I was just married to the wrong person. That's all. I needed to switch a Rudy.
Exactly. And the same here, and the same with her, and it just
well,
we sit back and look back a lot of times and think, man, what if we'd have met earlier, say, like in high school or shortly after. But the way we look at things in our life, things are that's meant to be will happen, or there'll be a sign that'll take you that way, and it has been through our whole marriage.
Yeah.
When good and bad.
We met at the best in our lives. I was 40, he was so.
That was nobody, and I don't mean in a bad way, but I was me, and I was probably, I did my share of the marriages. I mean, I didn't cheat around them, but I'm gonna be me, and then of course, like I said, which is no secret, I love to drink my beer. And even when we first met, I had told her, that's my thing. That's what I did. I, told my mom and daddy, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm me, and I'm going to be me, and nothing's ever going to stop it. I even made the statement before that the day that I quit drinking, the day I'm not here no more.
I saw a comment in your comment section. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and it was makes perfect sense. So you can tune a piano, but you can't tune a Smith. That got me. That got me.
Yeah, he's pretty tuned now.
But we do care. But no, I mean, and I've said it, and I've told her. I think it was that time, and to me, God put her, and she was she was the one that her and my mama was the main ones that got me to stop.
We tag team them.
To sing the live.
Hey, sometimes it needs to happen, but I'm glad that it all worked out, and you're tuned.
Yeah. No, I'm the tuner. But
okay, he ain't tuned. He ain't tuned. He's playing tuned. Is that right, Teresa?
Oh yeah.
Tuning a lot of people, and they just feel that, but I mean that's not everybody's, but that was my little lifestyle. That's like with Lisa. We did. I mean, a lot of people say, Lisa Marie was only 9 years old. Let me tell you, she was about 9 years old going 16 or 17, okay?
Yeah.
She was way ahead of her time. Of course, I was 13, 14 when Elvis passed away. But I won't say we did what most kids do, but a lot of them, we had access, and the guys, and some of them drank, and one of Lisa's maids that she brought from California drank, and we swiped her beer from out of the little refrigerator. We got into the beer downstairs, and we got into some of the beer and liquor in Charlie's room. I mean, just cigarettes. Lisa's talked about it.
Your kids, you're gonna do that. You can't think that's not normal. I'll tell you, I was kindergarten. I was in kindergarten acting all funny. I was only 5 years old. This was like 1980. I was acting all crazy and stuff. They called my mama and told her to come get me. They thought I was sick or something. She takes me home and I pass out. She saw like 4 cans of beer behind the door. 5 years old. I said, well, if Daddy can do it. Oh boy, we had to have a long talk while I can't get into Daddy's soda.
Soda.
Oh yeah. And that's what's.
I was five,
No,
Teresa. I didn't know it was for adults only. I just thought, oh, he drinks it all the time.
I knew, and I didn't care.
Right, if it was available.
Something to get
Yeah.
into.
Something to get into, you know. My mom and dad smoked, so every once in a while I'd steal one and pretend I smoked. I did it a lot. So
Well, don't get on that subject. I still smoke, and I have to hear it every day. So.
Oh, well, you know, we're getting in that age where people's like, oh, it's so in the past. You shouldn't smoke. It's bad for your health. They do, I know.
Exactly.
I know, but hey, change of the times. You either get with it or you don't, but you got to do it on your own, because if you don't stop on your own, you're just going to start up again. It's true.
That's right. It's going on, close to 8 years now.
Oh, yeah.
I smoked until I got pregnant with my son, and then I quit, and I never looked back. But it got me getting pregnant to think, hey, you know, I shouldn't be doing that.
See what I'm saying? Things happen for a reason.
Things do happen for a reason. I'm telling you, you know, even good and bad, like you said. Sometimes we have to get some bad lessons taught in order to rise up from it and be a better person.
Exactly.
Okay. I have been on this earth a little bit longer than some people think. But I do have a question for you. How many Elvis books have you actually sat down and actually read or skimmed through?
Are you talking to Teresa or me?
Both y'all. I mean, in general, your all's knowledge of Elvis books.
Well, a lot and none.
Okay.
The ones before I met Teresa, I would glance through a little bit. Reading just gives me a headache. I'm sorry, I can't.
I know there are. I know one just like you, my son. It just gives him a headache just to start the first paragraph. I get it.
Yeah, especially in school, reading really gives me a headache. But
yeah.
No, but like now, or since me and Teresa's been together, she loves reading. We've got a whole room that's just basically her library.
Now y'all never.
She reads everything to me.
Where is
out loud.
What you want me to read?
Yeah, we'll sit like in our chairs, or if we're in the bed, sometimes just in the bedroom, and she'll read like Lisa's book. She read the whole thing to me. Not all one night, but several.
No, I took the first time through the book was just Lisa's.
Right.
And the second time I went through just Robin. I just wanted to do it that way. Yeah, that's
I like separating the two as well.
Yeah.
But the reason why I asked this question, I don't know if anyone, I know you had got this asked before, but maybe I wasn't there. But you guys did read anything about Softly as I Lied to You, right? That book by Priscilla in any way. Anybody ever send you anything from her new book, Priscilla?
No, never read it.
Good. Be glad.
As a matter of fact, that's. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't. Hers, and there was other ones that I didn't read a lot of. I'd get, Teresa to kind of go through. She knows, I guess you could say some of the things that I might want to hear or see what was said or whatever. And then, outside it, and just kind of skip it. But that recent one, we've heard all about it, but we have not.
No.
I've seen it, being shown on YouTube channels and stuff.
Yeah.
And people talking, but no, we have never read it.
Fortunately, somebody bought it for me and sent it to me to read and review. I only got past a little bit. I was like, I can't endure. I can't do it anymore. I couldn't. It completely contradicts what Lisa says. Just blows it over like it never happened, and it just sugar-coated and lied about things. I just couldn't do it anymore. That's the last book I read, really. But that's really the last book that came out except for The Colonel. But I was wondering how many books y'all read, like about Elvis. Unfortunately, I was a reader. I have tons of them, but I had to read. I had nothing else to do. I wanted to learn about Elvis. I read everything.
Yeah, because there again, it goes back to the common sense thing we say, because you want to know things. Now
I want to know things. I want to know all of it, but some people don't want to know all of it. So it's
exactly.
okay, then don't listen.
it's not a bad thing.
No,
You know,
I don't think so.
the people, that's why we have our right, to do thank God to do what we want to do. As long as it's legal, and you know, like I said, it just goes on and on, and
Yeah, it's like share whatever y'all are comfortable sharing. It's your stories. You could do and share whatever you want.
and
There
that's
shouldn't
exactly
be
what we.
nobody telling you what you should and shouldn't share. It's what your conscience should be telling you to share, right? It's up to
Well,
you.
that's exactly, and as I've said, there's things that, and speaking for my parents, that they'll never talk about.
Yeah, I bet.
That was, you know, uh, strictly between them, and they want, between, Elvis and Linda or whoever, they were with, at the time, or if it was just, them and Elvis, and the same with me on some, my memories, uh, and my life and times with Lisa.
Yeah.
The reason I did brought her up is to show, uh, even in her own book. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't like it. They may want to hear it, they probably don't want to hear it. But Lisa was just like us. Uh, she told what she lived. And I mean, I guess you can make an excuse for everything, but you can't take the same thing and say, well, this is backstabbing and not loyal, but this is different because no, it's not. You know, Lisa Riley, like with her book, just like with anybody else, and the last time I checked, maybe this is a good question that I hadn't asked. I'll ask you one. Can I ask you one?
What would you like to know?
I would like to know, uh, what's probably the main reason anybody would want to write a book.
The main reason,
Yeah,
everybody always goes back to the money, but there are some people that write a book and don't make nothing.
I totally agree, but
So maybe the
but
main
you know
thing
what?
about
They
writing
don't.
a book is getting your story out there, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe the main reason of writing a book is to get your story out there, whether you make money or not.
That's a great answer. I mean, that's the way I see it. It is all in there. You do it to, like you said, to get it out there. And with Elvis, you do it because so many people want to find out, and that is a great thing to find out. Even today, that's what blows my mind is find out all they can find out about him. And there's not. I mean, if somebody's going to see something bad in something, they're going to see it anyway.
Yeah, and they've
But
already seen all the bad anyway. All this stuff came out decades ago.
exactly.
His legacy is as bigger as ever. Epic is out, So what are we worrying about here?
I
I
mean,
think he's fine.
yeah,
I do advocate for him from time to time because people are ignorant and they don't know their Elvis facts and get stuff wrong. I do it all the time, but
sure.
I'm not like some others that just going you
Some of
inside
that,
out because of doing it.
right. And some of that's not even worth. Through my lifetime, it's some, and people done, and it's not right, like what you're talking about, but sometimes it really ain't worth it because if you're listening, to, they mean well. They just, heard it or maybe read it wrong, and that's my point of this. Uh, that's how you find out from things. Maybe I'm missing something, but I mean, take you and your husband, for example, if y'all, were like Elvis and I wanted to know something and I was a big fan and a big follower, I'd want to know it. I'd want to know anything and everything I could to learn about it. Not, not to take something and go, well, you did this or you did that, when you drank or drugs or whatever it be. We're all human. We all make mistakes.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't sugarcoat somebody's life. It's not a donut shop. There's good, there's bad, there's ugly, then there's beautiful.
Exactly.
It's all mixed into one little bundle called life. We have all of that. We can't sugarcoat things. If y'all were to write a book about me right now and sugarcoat everything, there wouldn't be much of a book. There are going to be trials, tribulations, bumps along the way, setbacks.
Well, if Teresa wrote one about me, she probably had to sugarcoat the whole thing.
I'd have to dip it in honey.
Yeah, I mean, well, speaking of books, I've always wanted to write a children's book. So I wrote a children's book about Elvis the cat. He's a black, groovy, hillbilly cat. And I already got it to the publishing company. So anybody can write a book these days, even me, for crying out loud. But it's something I always wanted to do. I wanted a children's book about Elvis besides what they have out there, but I put it in like a world of a cat. All right.
That's
so
fantastic.
I did it. I did something. I set a goal, and I didn't do it for years, and I finally sat down and do it. And I think that my back and hip injury is what got me to do it, guys. I was just sitting here for days doing nothing.
That's great, though. I mean, you know,
I'll send you guys a copy when I get it done. It's 10 pages. It shouldn't hurt you, Danny. It's 10 little pages.
Hey, but I got Teresa.
You do, but guess what? It's also a picture book, so you won't even have to.
That's the perfect kind of book for them. Yeah.
You know, that's like if we get something that's got constructions or whatever, and Teresa will go, and this is actually the truth. She'll go, well, it's got instructions or it's got a book. Just read it, and I say, that's what I got you for.
You gotta have your assistant by your side telling you what
I don't mean it. Yeah, I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, thank God for her, but I mean, that's, you know, I'm not going to do a whole lot of reading and stuff.
Oh, no, you can be like my husband and just look at the directions and be like, chuck it and just put it together.
Me and him's got a lot in common.
Except Danny would put like a square into a round, you know, he would.
Sit there and work it and go, why won't this, why won't it?
Yeah, and then you got to grab that manual finally that you chucked behind your head to figure out what you did wrong.
I was opening the door and throwing them out in the yard before. I could hear that.
Well, let me give you a question that maybe you might be able to answer. This more reflects about your daddy, but your daddy was part of the Memphis Mafia, and in my point of view, he's one of the favorites, but that's my point of view. Everybody has a different one. I loved Billy, your daddy, so I'm there. But was there like anytime he ever discussed with you what kind of rule everyone had to follow, and if they didn't follow that rule, that they were out of there? Was there one rule that he gave to everybody in the Memphis Mafia that if you cross that line, you were done?
It's kind of, and I know you're going to think I'm copping out. I'm not. That's just like with us kids. Things didn't really have to be said or told. You just knew. But how you knew was, like, you know, you were taught.
Maybe it was a thing about loyalty, right?
Well, that was definite. And nobody, and I don't mean in a bad way, will ever know that loyalty. And I mean that from everybody that's been. Elvis had those people for a reason. Okay. Like I said, once again, did we make mistakes? Should we have done this? It's whatever. That group that I grew up and seen my whole life was amazing. I mean, it was, you know, they all had each other's back, and it don't just, you know, it's not just words. It was really there. But you know, sure. I mean, I'm trying to think of maybe one example, of course, was you know, Ricky, you know, no drugs or pot or whatever you want to call it, you know, carried on to it and all. But you know, there was a lot of reasons. Not that some of them did, but that was just, you know, an understanding. That was, you know, he didn't, you know, didn't like it, didn't want it. Of course, you can understand. I mean, look at how many stars has, you know, gone to an airport and, you know, got caught, or some of their people got caught. So just things like that. One of probably the main ones that everybody knew is certain things, you know, they did. Just like I said, there's certain things that won't come out because it was to stay in the group. and it did, and it has, and it will still. Everybody, you're not going to know everything because there's going to be things, I can promise you, Ginger Alden, Linda Thompson, uh, everyone, there's going to be things that they feel like was inside them, and they're just not going to talk about. Like I said, there's so much out there, but there's things that we talked about, Lisa and our little group that just meant something because we had our own kind of like, you know, because we seen them and we lived it and we wanted to be just, uh, so we kept our secret, and
You had your own little gang going
yeah,
on.
well, we protected one another just like they did, and we
Yeah.
had our own, you know, but that was a great question, but different stuff, and the older ones, uh, that was around, the original Memphis Mafia, uh, they knew and they taught, the new guys that come on and then they become Memphis Mafia.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
oh yeah. Well, that's the reason why I asked the question to begin with, was to make a point here. Everybody has stuff inside that they're going to take to the grave. And because of the respect and love for Elvis, y'all aren't sharing everything. Y'all are holding stuff back for a reason. And that's my point. You're not sharing everything. There's some people think that sharing Elvis stories too much, like some things too much. But the thing is, these stories are old. They've been out there for a long time. There's no real new stories like those. But at the end of the day, not everybody is telling everything. They're holding on to some things that they're never going to tell, and that is perfectly fine. But that was the reason why I asked the question, was to put the point out there that there's never ever going to be a time where we're going to know everything about Elvis.
oh,
Of course,
no,
we try, but
no,
we're never. But if you love them, you're going to keep that inside. And I can see how Linda might be hiding some things. Ginger might be hiding a few things. Y'all and your family, respectfully, are hiding a few things because of the love and respect for Elvis Presley that you have and your family. Because at the end of the day, it's a family thing. If you guys have family like I do, it's a bond type thing. There's things you don't talk about. You just
exactly.
don't.
And as I've said, you know, anybody that was in Elvis's group had one-on-one time or their time. Yeah, I mean Elvis did go out as a group, but uh, sometimes different ones. Not just mom and daddy uh, up in his room. He'd have others. Uh, and like you said, like with girlfriends and stuff. I mean, and you know, everybody has got something different, uh, and they tell it. Some of it, like you said, they won't, and that's perfectly fine. They shouldn't. But the things that are being, I'm gonna be honest. Maybe I can just, it's kind of hit me, so maybe I can put it out there. If and not in a brag way and turned and twisted in any type of way, but if you lived that life and shared that part, uh, and I know, especially with my mom and daddy, then you earned the right to talk about what you want to talk about. Let me just put it that way. I mean, mom and daddy's talked on it. It was no bad thing, but sure, it was hard. It was hard. Mom will tell you. She don't hide it. She'll tell you. Or especially
Yeah.
early on. We, we talk about it a lot.
Well, it had to be hard, especially for the
Eddie,
wives when the
Eddie's
when the
going
men
away,
left,
and all the men are going away, and the women ain't going.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, take a right. I mean, think about it. I mean, even today, I mean, if me or your husband was Elvis Presley or like him, and we took off to shoot movies or do tour or whatever, and said, okay, well, women's not going this time. I'm in. I mean, both, light bulb does come on. Think about it. I mean, why?
Yeah. Well, your mind gets a wandering about things, and
That's the
you
way.
get lonely, and you start asking questions, and somebody just has to plant a little seed in you, and that's it.
Sure.
I ain't saying when everything Priscilla went through was all roses and stuff, But I will say, I mean, she had choices. She had choices.
Right.
She could have chose not to marry Elvis Presley. I'm sorry. You know how I
Well,
get.
you know, like I said, and there's nothing wrong with that because you know you you have it. That's what you know. It ain't the disagreement or like I said, your own way because we can agree to disagree. It's the way it's been done here, you know, lately, and the way people, you know, there's no sense in that. I mean, if you don't agree with it, just say that and be done with it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, you know, you're going to, me and you know, all of us, we're not, me and Teresa don't, you know, agree on everything. But it don't mean we can't work a marriage out and get along. It don't mean we, you know, that
You
I
got
think,
you got to do that fine tuning.
Yeah.
no, I mean, you know, as long as I put my foot down, she's,
Just be careful where you put it.
Well, I didn't want to keep y'all all night for the life of me. I had so many questions, and I'm like, gosh, if I ask all these, y'all are gonna be tired.
well, I mean, to ask a couple more. I don't know how long we've been. We'll go a few more
Well,
minutes.
you can tell me a few stories of what y'all brought. Maybe that might help me
Well,
find
yeah,
some
I
better
forgot about that.
questions.
Yeah,
I know
well,
you brought some things. He's got some show and tell that's gonna go
yeah,
on.
this is one of the lamps. There was two that Elvis actually bought for our trailer when he and there's a video. Matter of fact, I've seen it on YouTube. It's coming out. Trying to think. I've seen different names for it, but it was them shopping. But you see them come out of the furniture store, and it's Linda, Lisa, Mama, Daddy, and Elvis. And
Oh,
that was that video. That was the day he bought all the furnishings uh, for our trailer. I
that's
just
pretty.
told him this is like I said, one of the things I got. I mean, he bought uh, complete, living rooms. I've got the mirror that I finally talked Mama out of. That he bought in our living room. I mean, our dining room. That's I'll have to show a picture or a video. Some people have seen it.
What was
Just
so cool that I learned about Elvis was anytime he ever gave you gifts, he'd say things like, just, go on, keep it and use it for a rainy day, something happens on a rainy day, you might get some money for it or something.
well, actually, Elvis. That gets into a whole other world. It doesn't matter what people. Ah, it's what you do. That's what I think is so hard to understand. And I can see it. I mean, I've sat and thought about it a lot. About maybe giving up or selling. Something Elvis had gave you or whatever.
It
But
would be hard. And he's saying a rainy day, Danny, like the worst of the worst, not because you wake up one morning and
well, I
say,
mean, there's so much, and there's so much that we and things that we won't never. I mean, but
yeah,
some we did. You know, but he knew that. You know, in my mind, we sit and talk about that, and a many a night, not just Mama, but whoever other couple might have been up in his room and all, and them
hmm
talking. It would get cold. He would get us one of his sweat tops or a jacket, and put on them. So here, just to keep you warm or whatever. And then, when they get ready to leave and go home, they'd say, here, he'd say, I'll just keep. He knew they would.
yeah. Well, I think he did. I think he did know because I don't know. Elvis is bigger than most of the stars today, so he probably couldn't even fathom why he was so big to begin with. He probably had to question that, which they said he questioned himself all the time. That was probably one of the questions. Like he did say, "Why me, Lord?" So he probably didn't even know. Like, what was the thing he told people before he died that he was afraid people will forget him? Good.
Yes, something along those lines. That was one that I think was that bothered him. If that's the right way to put it, he thought about it, but I've sat and put myself in that place and thought about that. You think about it. Anybody can think about it. I mean, I would be questioning, or asking, God, why me? God, what do I have? Or why, did, and trying to figure it and understand it. And am I going to have it, or did I have it and am I going to lose it? What, I mean, sure, that's another reason Elvis was just human. And, he
Yeah.
thought about, he worried about a lot of, same things we did, believe it or not. I mean, it's strange, but, if you hadn't, that life, it's a hard life. It's two different lives. And a lot of people go, oh my God, I wish, uh, you know, money, fame, all the great gifts, all the stuff and all, that's, it's not all it's meant. Don't get me wrong. It's great, but it's not all it's meant up to be. And I mean that in seeing it through Elvis's eyes, right.
You
I've
can have
always
all
said,
the money and admiration in the world, but you're still going to be very lonely. If that's all you have is money, admiration, you can
sure,
be a very lonely person.
well, yes. And two, think about this real quick. This always, and I've seen it, and people don't think about it. They think, well, yes, he was generous. He loved to give him but a lot of that was this man had already have and could have pretty much anything he wanted in life. Uh, Now you take that away, and by meaning that, it's what do we strive for in regular life, or growing up living, uh, to get a job and work up and maybe be able to get that car that we wanted, or a house that we wanted, or a boat, a motorcycle, ring, whatever. Uh, my point being, it got so bad that I mean that's he gave other people because it was a thrill and the feelings, the love feelings that he's seen in their face of how much they appreciate it. And think about it. I'm sure you know, I'm sure it had to go through his head. You know, I
Yeah,
can, I can remember when it meant that to me. I'm sure, he had to remember when he had nothing. He had no idea he was going to become who he did, and then he did, and then he's got everything, and then it's just bigger and bigger. So, you know.
it was better for him to give than receive. He liked to give.
He loved giving, and like we all said, not just family. He gave a lot of strangers,
Yeah.
a lot of people. He did a lot of charity work.
Mhm.
I mean, that was just him. He had a heart uh, that I haven't seen any other star or entertainer to his
Neither have my
magnitude.
maybe second best to me. Second best is probably Dolly Parton. Second
Yeah,
best.
yeah, Dolly
Second
does.
best on the giving. But yeah, you're right. There hasn't been an entertainer, and I like all genres of music. I got all kinds of different groups and bands that I love, from Aerosmith all the way down, whatever. But I still listen to Elvis. He's my fave. But no entertainer has ever been able to touch the fans like Elvis Presley. He's not even here anymore. Epic is coming out, and it's a big deal, about how many people can't get enough of Elvis to this day. So he's never going to be forgotten. If anything, his legacy has gotten bigger. My question to you guys is, are you guys going to Epic?
I won't say going. We're going to watch it.
Watch it?
Yeah.
I'm going tomorrow. I'm going to Atlantic Station in Atlanta to go. So I'm going to have a ball.
Well, you enjoy it. Yeah, I hope you do. But yes, we are definitely gonna watch it. And with that, Sean, I mean that's what's so great is the younger and the new generation. But they are all coming. If you go back through these young folks, somewhere in their generation, their grandma, great grandma, or great great whatever was Elvis fans, and they roll over. That's what I got to say, and that is the Elvis family, and that is the Elvis group. That's just massive, and you're not gonna, you're not gonna, take nothing away from them. They're gonna do what they want to do.
Exactly. I mean, you mentioned earlier in your video earlier that I watched that your brother Joey didn't have that same feel for the Elvis thing, the Elvis phenomenon, as you did. You embraced it more,
Yeah, and
than your
that's
brother. Everybody's different, so you embraced it. He didn't.
exactly.
Lisa embraced it. You guys had your own little gang going on, and you had not really gang, but you know what I mean. You're just
And
your little
maybe
pack of friendship, your little friendship family bond when y'all played on the yard and went on the golf carts, did all that stuff. Was there anything Lisa ever told you that she was fed up about as a child, being the child of Elvis Presley? Did she ever say anything to you in that regard?
uh,
I know she
well,
flipped off people at the gate and cussed them out
yeah,
and stuff, but to
not
you, did she ever say anything like, I can't stand it? Anything? She did,
well,
yeah. Little
she
attitude.
said that. She said that about some people. I mean, I have said that before.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, it is what it is. And not to, things go back and forth, but I mean, there were so many people that was there that know, and that's what gets me, that tell pretty much the same story or that know it. And then you have one or two that want to say, that it was different. But
Yeah.
like I said, with her relationships, yeah, there were some things she wasn't happy with.
I'm sure.
Like I said, I talked about them in a video. She didn't like her daddy being upset. I'll put it that way. But yeah, sure, we could. I mean, just like normal. I mean, we talked about things in her book, and she, I think, says that, if I remember right. She always worried about something happening to her daddy.
Yeah.
She would talk about that at times. Uh, Real quick, I'll one night they all uh, got together, mom and dad. I forget who all it was. And he wanted to go up and just kind of fly around, maybe like Nashville, Memphis, area, and Lisa Marie for a little while. And she wanted to go. She wanted us to go. And he said, no, for her to stay, we dad race and do what we wanted to do and all, and have a good time. But that they were going, adult business, which was understandable. And we were sitting on the steps that go downstairs that's got all the mirrors on the wall. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, up the
Yeah.
stairs.
We were sitting on them,
Uh-huh.
and because we used to like to sit there and look in the mirrors at each other and talk. And she actually cried that night, and she,
Mm.
for some reason or another, I guess, kind of had a bad feeling. I mean, everything turned out okay, nothing happened. She just didn't really want her dad to go that night, stuff like that. I mean, she,
Yeah, kids have, well, my dad was real sickly when I grew up too, and he had things going on. So I think every child uh, worries about their parent when they're going through hard times and they're sick. They're always worried. When
sure.
I'm sick, my son's always worried about me. So I would think that, yes, Lisa would definitely be worried about her daddy. Um, and when Lisa's book came out, I will have to say I appreciated you guys coming up to bat and talking about Lisa's book the way y'all did. That was a great surprise, and a lot of us Elvis fans loved that.
Well, I mean, that's because, like I
Sam.
said, on my part of it is because uh, on the Lisa part that she talked about, that was dead on. That was the Lisa that I know, that I hung around with, that we, uh, and like we go back to saying, anybody can question. Well, she could have left that out. She didn't need to say this. She did. She felt like she needed to, so she did.
Yeah.
So what is wrong with that? She's not uh, talking bad about her daddy. She's not cutting her daddy's throat. She's not backstabbing him. She is telling what she lived. just like a lot of others are doing, and they're like we're doing, and that's her right. Like I said, that's their right. They earned that. It wasn't. That's what a lot of people may think. It was gravy, and it's just with all that Elvis gave and did, and this and that, and then no, there was hard times too. With Mom and Daddy's talked about it. Elvis. We all got it in it. Teresa tells me every day, I'm a big old baby. He had a lot of that in him. Uh, he liked his way. He liked to do his things, and then he, everybody else. That was just him.
I see that. But I was just glad because we were trying to get as many people to read that book as possible because it seemed like a lot of the mainstream media didn't care. But I personally think that even Lisa, there are things that she left out. I think so.
Oh, I know for a fact.
I think there are even things that she even left out, but that's the point here. Anybody can write a book and put their stories in a book, but just don't put everything in there. There are things that need to be left, and other things just let it out. Whatever.
Exactly. There was things that Lisa, if she'd have wanted to put in and talk about these days and times, I guess, with what little bit has been said with her fighting people probably. But you know what? Yeah, she did. I'm going to be honest, and I can't speak for it, but I think there probably was a little more in there, and I think Raleigh probably had some of it taken out.
Oh yeah, I have more of a feeling and belief. It's just there's so much that could have been said that was left unsaid.
That's just my opinion only, but they're going to edit anybody. It's going to edit, and Raleigh did a good job at what she put in there. But my point being is what I said. It was the same way with Aunt Delta. We loved her to death. She was great, but did she have her ways? Yes, she did, and did she cussed us, cussed Lisa, and Lisa did her, and we did her, and sure, and I'm sorry, I just don't see anything wrong with it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't putting her down. And I had told them stories and got accused of that, and then Lisa's book comes out, and she said more than I said. And me and Lisa had 15 years, so guess what? She lived it, and like you said, she'll tell what she wanted to tell, and she did.
And she'll keep what she wanted to keep, just like you guys, just like Linda, Ginger, all the rest. There's stuff they're keeping, and that's my point. Not everything has came out. It's not like everything under the sun has came out. It has not. So, I was just trying to make a point here. I do want to know almost everything about Elvis Presley, but in due respect for him, I don't have to know it all. Okay? So,
well, exactly. There's, like I said, and I never claim to know. I know what I lived. It was a lot to me and what I grew up. I know a whole lot, through living in the house and, like we all do. You can hear your mom and daddy talk, when they're in private, and even some things that they will. There's things out there that, like I said, that they won't share. They'll never share with us, and they shouldn't if they don't want to. If they do, that's wherever learned. That's another thing. A whole lot of early on knowledge comes from, and I've said it a million times. If I don't know the answer, I'll ask mom and daddy.
They would know. That's what I said. They would know.
And if they don't know, then hey, they wasn't around during that time, which is fine. Everybody has to, but to put people, down for what they want, like like I said, y'all and stuff, that's just wrong, and that's not the way to do it. Y'all, are doing a great thing, and if everybody just realize, I think the majority do. Like I said, and I don't take nothing away from Baz or Boz. Some people call him both. I think he's doing a great thing, but I disagree with statements made that he's bringing Elvis back. Elvis never went anywhere.
I know that part was awfully weird, and the way that he did the storytelling about Gladys, that wasn't very right. And they didn't even consult your mom and dad, which would have been good. if they would have consulted your mama and daddy, they would have got Gladys just right.
Yeah. But you know, it was meant to be. Like I said, we're not all going to agree on things, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But let's give credit where credit due. Credit for Elvis Presley of being what he was and what he is today is from the Elvis family, that his fans. That's 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 just the way it is. Like it, lump it, say whatever you want to. No, because without them buying tickets, without them watching movies, without them watching documentaries or reading books, watching YouTube, and wanting to find out about it, there wouldn't be no Elvis Presley.
Yeah, it's the fans.
He would have dwindled out a long ago, just like a lot of people. That shows you how special he is.
Yeah, it's the Elvis family as fans. It's us. We keep it going. But it's also people like y'all, especially you, Danny, who you were there. People should be able to listen to whoever they want to listen to. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty awesome that we get Memphis Mafia Kid and Elvis Fans Matters out there to give us some of insight into the life that y'all lived in. Because if y'all weren't here, what would we do? We'd be watching some crazy channel. Yeah. I'd rather watch you guys.
We and that means a lot. You've seen me say it on the videos, from the comments and stuff we get. That's what keeps it going. And we appreciate that. Like I said, we just, the majority is what we're at, and if we're asked something, that person won't know that question. That's why they asked it. And if it's something we, like you said earlier, feel okay talking about, we will. If we don't, we won't. The same with a lot out there, but it's not for somebody else to judge. In my opinion, I mean, that's like you. Talk about what you want to. Now, I may not totally disagree with it, but I'm not going to slam you for it. The same way with these other channels. There's a lot of good. Kyle, our friend out there, and that's a great thing. I'd love to see more. When we started, there wasn't many, and then there's been a lot come.
Yeah. I remember watching when you first came out. You started with the whole fam on the couch: your mom, dad, Joey, you. And it was entertaining because we got to see and hear from you guys, and we hadn't seen or heard from you guys in a long time, unless we went to meet and greet or whatever y'all were doing. Being on YouTube's helped y'all get your story out there a lot better than just the meet and greet. But it also helps you get more fans. For when you do the meet and greet, you get to meet new people. So the internet is an awesome gem that we can use to reach out and touch people we don't even know, And one day I'm going to go to your meet and greets. I'm going to unfortunately have to miss this year again. Work is always calling. I'll make it eventually.
Or down to Memphis?
Yeah, to go see y'all when y'all go. I would love to go, but this year is a no-go. Maybe I'll try next year. And
like we said, we totally understand. Those that we all live in this tough world today, and it is tough.
Yeah, it is. But hey, you're only 3 hours and 45 minutes from my house. Maybe I'll just drive it one day and we all go lunch or something. Who knows?
If you ever just spring up, take a notion, or we do, we'll contact and we'll do it.
I know it. I got to just make that leap and drive down there one day. Better do it. I'd like to.
We're like I said, we're not, going to hold you up all night, but look, we really appreciate you having us and asking us.
I appreciate you guys too. It was fun. Hey, you have a purse you need to show.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Tell a story about that. Another show and tell, guys. Another show and tell. Almost forgot.
This purse. This purse was my grandmother's. A lot of y'all know her as Elvis St. Lorraine. That's my daddy's mama. And I always talk about how much and things that the Elvis fans family that I call gave and did for us and all. one lady actually, a friend of my grandmother's, which is a big Elvis fan, got this for her in the last couple of years of her life, and a lot of y'all will well remember it. I probably seen it a lot when she was down at the Hickory Log and at other places, but she thought so much of that person and loved it. And see that, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It just, you can't. That's, that's memories and a love uh, that I just can't imagine not everybody knowing it like I did. It blows my mind. I mean, I've said it a million times and mean it. Uh, if if I didn't have this, I mean, I've thought about it. I don't know. I just can't imagine being without it. And I thank God for that.
You're just born into a lucky family, Danny, for a little while anyway. Yes, you were. I know how things end. You all had a wonder. It was all like probably a dream until it ended. It's just like a.
Oh, it's fantastic. Wish you never. But see, that's what I'm glad you said that. That's what to me keeps it going because uh, in a big way it hadn't ended, and it won't end until I'm gone. And I mean, yeah, you know, we talk about it. We lost Elvis and uh, Graceland as a home, and it being what a lot of things. That's life. It does. It happens. Uh, but we we still have him in this special way today, and I think, like I said, until I'm gone, it'll go and past that, and then we got, like I said, uh, grandchildren, and of course little Laney, and maybe they can go on, telling stories that they grew up listening to.
Yeah, I think it's great. Y'all have two channels. You're putting the love out there, all your memories, not all of them, but as many as you feel like you can say about whatever you feel like. That's just a blessing in itself. And guys, thank you for coming on tonight. It's been almost 2 years in the making, and I finally got you both, not just Danny, got you too, Teresa. It's been awesome.
Well, we appreciate you.
Thanks for having us.
I appreciate you too.
And just, girl, keep doing what you're doing. We appreciate it.
Oh, I'm going to keep it going. We always what? You know that we
always live Elvis.
We always live Elvis. That's right. We do every single day. So I want to get a little bracelet and wear that every day. I do it too. Danny, it has been an absolute honor having you and Teresa on my show tonight. Thank you for being so generous with your memories and for giving us Elvis fans family, a glimpse into the man behind the legend. It's clear that the bond of your family shared with Elvis was something truly special, and we appreciate you keeping that history alive for all of us to hear. For everyone watching, if you want more of these incredible firsthand stories, make sure you head over to the YouTube channel Memphis Mafia Kid and subscribe to his channel. All right? It's the hands down the best place to get the real, unfiltered truth about life with Elvis Presley. Danny, thank you again for joining us this evening. We'd love to have you back on Tenderly Loving Elvis, you and Teresa. I appreciate it. From mine to yours. PCB, Memphis Mafia Kid. Bye, everybody. I hope y'all enjoyed what you watched this evening. It was fun sitting down with Danny and Teresa this evening. So thank y'all for watching.